busting out worldwide. Coming up in the second half of this hour, I will take your calls on all the different news items I've been covering today. I need to get more into Warren Buffett and the new tax increases. I need to also get into the IRS trying to get a bill passed. It's passed the Senate now in the House, where you can't travel, can't leave the country, and it'll soon be can't have a job if the private banker collection group says you haven't paid your taxes. No judge, no jury. This is right out of Soviet Russia. We're also going to get to Secret Service dismisses biggest scandal for agency, and we'll tie that in to Latin American leaders saying, decriminalize drugs, it's destroyed their country. But the United States says no, because it's run by the big banks that run the drug cartels and launder the money on record. It's very, very elementary how simple all this is. If you want to go ahead and get lined up, I'd love to hear from you on this Sunday transmission. It's 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-ALEX. I'm going to be honest with you. Some days we open the phones up, incredibly intelligent person after person. Other days it's folks that sound like they've drunk 3 bottles of NyQuil and aren't paying attention. I'm going to start, if you don't come out with a cogent, quick point, or you got a long, rambling story, I've got to disconnect you. Because we don't screen calls, but then it gets taken advantage of and is weird. Because when I do screen calls by saying, on this topic, on this issue, like some days I should just ask, computer specialists, what do you think of SOPA and all this new legislation? And it would all just be genius callers. Thought-provoking, incredible. Or if I say police officers, call in about this issue. Incredible callers, incredibly thought-provoking, profound. Or military, call in. Or doctors, call in. Profound, incredible, breaking news. When I just say open phones, whatever you want, it is hellish, and you all know it. And my listeners are complaining, and I'm listening. In fact, I am 2 inches from kicking in phone screening. And that doesn't mean if it's not left or right or not what we're looking for, you don't get on. It means you better know how to talk. Because, look, all talk radio has people that are half asleep calling in. It's just they don't let you on air. And so my total open door policy is coming to an end. So if you're halfway into a 5th of Jack Daniels, like I am, I'm joking, do not call into this radio transmission. All right? I'm just telling you right now, I love you to death. I love you to death, and people are like, why does he let this person go on for 3 minutes trying to get their point, or 3 segments? I want to revolutionize this show. It's already really reaching a lot of people, hitting on all cylinders. I want to go to the next level. 877-789-2539. But you don't need to call in and talk bad about the callers. That'll now become a topic. It's just, Chris and crew, it's not a request. It is a on-my-knees order that you guys start slapping me upside the head about callers. It's so bad sometimes John Harmon, you know, is like, come on, get him off. Even though it's not his job. He's like, it's so terrible. I mean, I'm great at some things, but I'm not at others. So prepare yourselves for that. That way we can get to the next person. And I'll try to shut up. You can say a lot in a minute. I can give a quick comment, move to the next person. Like it's another thing on talk radio, because there's a lot of smart women out there. But I've heard a lot of radio consultants now talking, saying, let women talk on talk radio. And I mean, the host will sit there and it'll be some dingbat and they'll go on and on and on, just like at a 3rd grade level. And of course, they say that in media, period. You know, dumb it down, dumb it down. I'm not dumbing jack squat down. You're smart. You know what's going on. You don't want a bunch of simplistic bull thrown at you. I mean, some of this stuff's simple we cover, but a lot of it's complex because that's where reality is in complexity. We've gotten dumbed down and dull because we've been fed a diet of it. Me too. I want to change. I want to be a better talk show host, a better fighter for liberty. And I will be. Big video up at Infowars.com. It's an oldie but a goodie. It's incredible. It's like a buried treasure. Presidential advisor confirms elites' occultic rituals. Straight ahead. Then, the Secret Service scandal. The Taliban offensive.
When you're out on the road.
All right, my friends, the toll-free number to join us is 877-789-ALEX. 877-789-2539. That's the Sunday number, different than the weekday show, 11 to 2, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, one that's on XM channel 166. one that's number 1 in Orlando and many other cities, kind of like we're number 1 in most demographics, number 2 in the coveted, 18 to 54 here in Austin on 590. Number 1, not in talk radio, number 1, period. All over the place, even on smaller stations. The big number 1 juggernaut, like 590 in Austin, you know, it's still a feat to be better than all the music stations and everybody combined. But it is a real feat with things like 810 AM, which is a good signal, but a relatively new talk station that shifted from oldies, that carrying us right now a few years ago, to talk, to go from like number 5 or 6 in most of the demographics to number 1 across the board. I just got to say, the instant people meters are really showing the power of this broadcast. And again, the fact that we can be on like little stations in Tennessee, 1,000 waters, and after a couple years being on, we'll be number 2 or number 1 in many demographics. I mean, that's unheard of. My point is, freedom and liberty is popular. I hear Republican talk show hosts going, it's wrong to tax the rich. They're the ones that fund the economy and hire employees and buy things, which is true if it's a real rich person that developed something people wanted. They're a godsend. Inventors, artists, creators, sports people, whatever. You got money, you're spending it, great. That is who makes the economy go. Research it. But the crony capitalists who are anti-free market, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Warren Buffett, Ted Turner, to a greater extent, George Soros, these are people that made money out of government contracts, government inside knowledge, banker bailouts. I mean, I read to you McClatchy. It doesn't get more respected. I got to tell you, for mainstream newspapers, McClatchy, news wires, news services, McClatchy is probably one of the only true bona fide news organizations in the United States. They constantly report accurately. My analysis, I already have it. Go to them. It's exactly what I'd say because it's what's going on. Bloomberg, a little bit too, he's an anti-gun piece of garbage, the person. Bloomberg, because it is business news, businesses want real data. Corporations do, so it's a little better too. But still, nothing compared to McClatchy. I mean, here's McClatchy. And it wasn't like it was rocket science. It was a fact that Warren Buffett was the biggest U.S. beneficiary of the banker bailout. That means your tax money. He made himself, some estimates, well, one bailout was over $2 billion, another was over another $1 billion, and then these other companies he's invested in, it was over $1 trillion. And he's like, Jeepers Creepers, Jiminy Crickets, I'm a nice old man. I eat ice cream. Every time he's on TV, let me have an ice cream. I'm a harmless old man. I didn't get all this power by being a hardcore, savage scammer. No, I got it by being a nice old man with Bill and Melinda Gates over there. Yeah, I'm a real nice guy. And I want to raise taxes on rich people. Anybody making $250,000 a year in a couple. That isn't rich, folks, with inflation. That's middle class. That's upper middle class. And people making $150,000 or $125,000, individually. $125,000 individually. Most municipalities pay police that now. You're going to push them above 40% a tax bracket? All these elitists have written loopholes where they pay almost no taxes. And I read to you last hour, the Washington Post from Thursday, how the Buffett rule could still be escaped by highest earning households. And it goes on to say the billionaires are exempt. Do you think some guy like Warren Buffett, living for money, who always tells you he doesn't want money and puts his money in a tax-free foundation where only the profit is taxed and then that's exempt? I mean, it's such a fraud. Buffett, champion of bailout, is also leading beneficiary. That's McClatchy.com from 2009, right after the bailout. And I mean, look, he funds the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that he's given half the money to. He funds most of ABC This Week. In fact, it says underwriting, they're the biggest sponsor of that show. It was Christina Amanpour. Now it's the other Bilderberg minion, Charlie Rose. And I mean, I don't even watch TV, but I've been in hotel rooms over and over again on a Sunday, waiting for an airplane to fly out of some city I'm doing stuff in. And it's all, I've watched it like 10 times last year. And every time I watch it, The entire show is about rich people don't pay taxes, but this angel, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett want theirs raised. And it's Warren Buffett. Oh, gee, I'm just upset. I want to raise taxes. I don't pay enough. He's the guy that lobbied in the 80s and 90s on record. I've got the articles right here to put the loopholes in where he doesn't pay. It's a total fraud. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, there's zero hedge. Buffett bailout of BAC sends stock to early August levels. And it goes through the billions of bucks he got. Okay, go read McClatchy and how he made billions. Actually, one part of the bailout was $25 billion Wells Fargo to him. I mean, personally, a couple bill. Yeah, he wants to raise your taxes because he loves you. He takes the money through government and gives it to himself in banker bailouts. If that isn't criminal, I don't know what is. Now, we're going to break and coming back with some more news and then your phone calls. But this hasn't been seen in years. This is in my film Martial Law and in my film The Order of Death. I run into David Gergen in 2004, 8 years ago, at the RNC. This is the Karl Rove of 4 administrations. And I bring up occult rituals that I've snuck in and videotaped. I'm not the weirdo talking about it. They're into it. And he blew up at me about it. Because I showed him news articles. Well, on screen when I talk about it, I show the article where it talks about people running around naked in his quotes. And it's on record. Vanity Fair snuck in 2 years ago and got arrested. But it was just men having sex with each other everywhere. Okay, this is the Christian conservatives, what they're doing right now. Because it's all fake. You don't even get in the club unless you do that. Let's go to this clip of David Gergen blowing up at me. Here it is. Occultic Ritual, the video at Infowars.com.
In the fall of 2004, while in New York to cover the Republican National Convention, we ran into David Gergen, the Karl Rove of 4 presidential administrations.
Okay, one last question. I read a Washington Times article many years ago where you had a comment about the organization, and then now it's been in the Wall Street Journal, it's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove. And back in, 1996, when you joined as a Clinton advisor, the Republicans were criticizing you, oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, hey, I don't run around in the woods naked. What did that mean?
Here is the before-mentioned Washington Times article where he said, I didn't run around naked like they do.
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I just respect you for that.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials.
I'm sorry. You took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film. And did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them up after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual gentlemanly? A clip of the ritual. Simulated human sacrifice.
Sir, everything I don't owe you this comment.
I know. I appreciate it.
You have.
I tell you what. Hit pause.
Ambush journalism.
Hit pause. Back it up. When we come back from break, we will come back and play the rest of this. But again, he blows up about the ritual, just like Skull and Bones, another homoerotic orgy. And I'm not being homophobic. If that's what the world elite conservatives do. You know, they're all men having sex with each other in a huge pit of feces. That's their issue. I just think they're liars. Thank you for joining us on this live Sunday transmission. I'm here every Sunday, 4 to 6 Central, 5 to 7 Eastern.